Welcome back to Perimenopausal Chats. I am Gina Liberty, and thank you for being here again today. Today, I would like to do some real talk. Are you ready for some real talk? Some maybe possible emotional-ish. I don't know. I don't know what to call it. I'm still kind of in a weird place when it comes to this. So recently, I have realized that, well, I'm self-diagnosing, but I have realized that it's 99.9%. Oh my goodness. PG happening. For those of you who are new, perimenopausal glitch. 99.9% likely that I have lipedema. Lipedema is a connective tissue disorder as well as a fat disorder, meaning that, well, along with the connective tissue issue, I have to laugh. I have to laugh sometimes or I will cry. And the fat, the type of fat on certain areas of my body is fat that does not respond to normal things that you would do to get rid of it. Yay me! Yay me! I swear I have battled and battled. Anyway, we'll get into this, but I'm still learning. I'm researching. I'm still figuring it out. I'm definitely not an expert. I'm not a medical professional by any means. But it all makes sense now. It all makes sense now. And you know, what's hitting me the hardest is not so much that this is another thing that I have, another diagnoses, self-diagnoses that I have, along with the other diagnoses that I've had in the past from medical professionals. It was the realization. It was a realization of all of those years, all of the years. I don't want to sit here and think about it too much because I will get emotional about it because it has affected my life for as long as I can remember. And I'm just now figuring it out. I had zero clue up until recently. All those years, I thought I wasn't working hard enough. I wasn't disciplined enough. I needed to try harder. Maybe I was missing something. Thinking that I was missing something. I was missing something, but it wasn't what I thought I was missing, right? Maybe some of that wasn't true, but I tell you what, awareness changes everything. Like when you don't know what's happening, you tend to blame yourself. And that's what I was doing. And I'm still trying to process this a bit. And I think that I'm going to go through stages because I'm not thinking of certain things all at once, right? When you don't understand what's happening with your body fully, you can't support it properly, right? So the opposite is true. When you understand what is happening to your body, you can support it differently. And this is something that I have preached all the time, right? We are in a different stage of life, perimenopause and beyond. We have to support our bodies differently. And it's the same with any kind of diagnoses that you get. You have to learn what that is, how it affects your body, and what things you can do to help it. What tools can you put in your toolbox to move forward and to make things as best as it can be, right? I spent years, I don't know how long, I'd have to really think back on, I don't know. It's been a very, very, very long time. I have certain areas on my body that even though I don't weigh a whole lot in my head. I don't. And it doesn't matter what I do. You can't tell that I work out. And that was frustrating because I'm like, why can I work out? I know there's muscle there, but I wouldn't show certain parts. I would show the top of my arm, but not the bottom of my arm because it didn't match. It didn't match. Areas on my legs where you can see. And I thought, okay, it's cellulite, it's extra fat. Well, it's a different thing. It's different. Those areas don't respond as normal. They don't. And you know what? Not only did it affect my now I'll tell you, this has so many layers. This has so many layers, and as I'm talking, I'm thinking of other things, but I don't want to go down rabbit holes because I'm trying to stay focused here. This is basically just me saying this is what I believe is going on, and this is a start of me realizing and figuring out and also questioning things that I think about myself that could possibly be wrong. It could be something else that you have no idea about, that you have no control over, most control over. Because there are things that you can do, but I know I'm not getting surgery, so I don't know that it'll ever just go away. But there are things that I can do to help support, because it does affect things like circulation and lymphatic drainage system and all of that fun stuff too. So, but it also affected my mental state, because as a weight loss coach, that brings up, forgive me, I did not plug my laptop in. There we go. I apologize. I was a weight loss coach. I say was because I've taken a break from that at this point, because I am working solely on building a community of women who can help support and encourage and do life together through this fun thing we call perimenopause and beyond. But as a weight loss coach, I dealt with it because it brought up imposter syndrome feelings. Like, who am I to help other women? Why can't I get rid of this last 15 pounds-ish, or what I think is 10 to 15 pounds of fat? Why am I struggling with this part? If I can't take care of this, then how is some other woman going to look at me and say, and yes, I know that's kind of judgy, but we kind of do that. I would hope not, but I wouldn't do that, so I know other people wouldn't do that, but there are some that would. Anyway, just look at a person and judge their body and say they're not able to weight loss coach me, which is completely false, because I do know what I'm doing. I do know how to help you lose weight. I don't know. I'm sitting in the moment. I'm going through this right. I mean, this is real and raw and unedited to the T. I now know why. There's been a reason. And honestly, you don't have to feel one way or the other. You can feel this and this. And I feel completely frustrated, but I also feel free, because knowing that there's something is freeing, because I can now research that and I can do everything in my power to support my body in that area of my life. It was never about trying harder. And I know I say this all the time. It's never, never, never about trying harder. Maybe you just don't have information that you need yet, right? I don't know if there's other women out there who are carrying, well, I guess shame. Shame would be a good way to put it. I was shameful because I feel like I was doing all the right things. And even though I am okay with where my body is, meaning I don't have to be a size 0, right? I don't have to look a certain way to be happy where I am and to continue supporting my body as I can. I know that I have the last 10, 15 pounds, depending on how I feel when I get there. But I also know that those are usually the hardest ones to get off as well. And so I'm taking it easy. I'm just doing the things that I know will help me to get there. I'm being consistent. But how many of you are out there and you're carrying shame over things you don't fully understand yet? Maybe it is lipedema, ironically. Maybe it's hormones. I mean, that's why you're here, right? Maybe it's stress. Maybe it's something else completely, entirely different. The point is not the diagnosis. The point is actually to stop assuming that it is a character flaw of some sort, or something you're not doing enough, or not trying hard enough, or whatever the case may be. There could be something in your body that is hindering you. And hormones is a big deal because it can hinder you. And that's why I preach a solid, healthy foundation from the get-go, because once you have that set in place, then everything else can be a tool, and it will work at its optimal state if you have the foundation set already. So doing that alone is going to help a ton. So what are some helpful things? Being curious is helpful. Being aware is helpful. You need support. That's helpful. You need community. That's helpful, because we can't do this alone. And if you keep adding things, it's just too much. So here's what I do know. I believe that my lipedema would be way worse today if I hadn't spent the last 7-ish years building my strong foundation. What I call the big rocks. My nutrition, mainly protein, because I'm a protein pusher, right? Movement, strength training, hydration, stress, sleep. Those things matter. No matter what you're dealing with, those things matter, and they will make the biggest difference. I promise you that, especially nutrition when it comes to being in this stage of life, and also in lipedema, because inflammation. Anytime we have inflammation in the body, it can lead to many other things that are not good for you. So that's a whole nother video. But let me just say, foundations still matter. Even when you discover something new is going on, you're still going to keep that foundation strong. Because if you don't and you allow it to crumble, then it can make things worse. You can feel worse. Perimenopause taught me that. And now lipedema is reteaching me that. So maybe the answer isn't trying harder. Maybe it's just understanding yourself better. Because I know you're not lazy, you're not broken, you're definitely not alone. And I tell you what, I have been through a lot of health things for decades, I feel like. I had one thing happen and I figured it out, and I did the things that supported my body, and I felt better for a minute, and then something else came along. And then I did the same thing again. I figured it out. I researched it. I got the tools to help myself feel better, and I felt good for a minute, and then something else comes. On and on and on. Then perimenopause, and now this lipedema addition to my fun stuff. So I keep going though, because you know what? This is our one body. We get one body, and we need to do everything in our power to support it the best we can. And we don't want to give up on ourselves. We don't want to give up on our bodies. We want to feel our best. Even if that means doing the same boring, mundane things day in and day out for your healthy foundation, that is supporting yourself, and that will make a huge, huge impact on your health and your life, the vitality of your life. So, I don't know where to go with this. I just hope that you pulled something from that, because I feel like we need encouragement when yet another thing comes and it hits us and we don't know what the heck just happened. I hope this gave you some encouragement. And if you're dealing with lipedema, please reach out to me and let's talk. I know that I have the perimenopause community going on, but I almost think that I want to do a community about lipedema awareness and just basically go through step by step, like things that we're trying, things that we're doing, things that we're learning. So yeah, if that's you, let me know. And don't forget that something is always better than nothing. And that something can be so small, but very impactful. So keep on keeping on and come and join us over in Perimenopausal Chats.